We are live. And let's see, everything is all set up now. It should be working. So let's click resume and get started. All right. So we are back in game. And we have this whole thing set up. Is the glare weird? No, it's fine. The glare is on my shoulder, which doesn't matter. Alright, that's fine. So, we have all this red circuit production, which is short, currently on both plastic and on green circuits. Now, plastic might be an issue. Green circuits should be fine, though. Because I think at least last time I checked we had plenty. Yeah, we have a train on the way here to drop off the green circuits. And this is our second red circuit factory, so getting this up and running will be very nice. So here come the green circuits, and then we have this, the plastic input, which is coming as well. Alright. So that's always nice. Turn on the stream and 30 seconds later you have a functional factory. So this is going to run and start producing those. Actually, did I ever make night vision goggles? I think I didn't. Let's see if those do anything neat. Make it easier to see. Alright, where are you? Ah, yes. Alright, that's brilliant. I love that. So we can just see like normal no matter what. Should have done that probably like a billion streams ago, but that's fine. Alright, so this is now running along and producing more red circuits. And it's even starting to fill up a train. Cool. So, the other thing I wanted to do... Okay. This is an unrelated problem, but we should fix it real quick. Somehow that got disconnected. So let's attach it back in. And I sure hope there's nothing else that got disconnected. Electrical networks, I mean, I don't see any alternative stuff on there, so it's probably fine. So what I want to do is go back to messing around with the circuits, because I have a new idea. And I don't know if it'll actually work, but it's worth a shot. Alright, so somewhere around here we have this, which is our red circuit input. So, what I want to do is set priority. So I can set the various train stops priority instead of trying to like turn them on and off completely. I can just do priority sets and that will work better. Although, let's see, before we do that, how's this going? Productivity module 3s are, yeah, they're missing the blue circuits. Right, that's part of why we were trying to get this done. So, we don't want all of these. That wound up not being correct. And we're not even going to need the radar, because this should theoretically be entirely local. So, what we need is, we're still going to need some combinators and such. So, we get a arithmetic combinator, maybe. And Alright, so what we need to do is we need to do it like based off of a function of how full this is. So basically the idea is if this box is full, then priority is set to 0. If it's 50% full, priority gets set to 50. If it's 0% full, priority gets set to 0. That sort of thing. Or, no, yeah, if it's 0% full, priority gets set to 100. Right. So it has to be like 100 minus the fill percentage, I guess. So let's see if we can do that easily. So let's, first of all, just get some red circuits in there so that we have some value, so that we can just look at it and be sure that it's correct. So input signals is 200. So 200 is going to be 1 over 32. So what we have to just do is some math. So we have to figure out what percentage this is of the full box, which is going to be, we're going to need a constant combinator, probably. So this would be set to the full value of the box if it were completely filled up, which would be 32 slots times 200, which would be 6,400. So this is going to output, I guess, to that 6,400. And then that is going to go into this as well, and it will be red circuits divided by the slash and output to equals. Okay, but we can't do percentages. So we have to do this in 2 steps, I guess. Alright, so this, we're going to need another constant. Give me you. You go in there. And you get disconnected. You get connected. And you are going to be set to 100. And we multiply. And then we get another arithmetic combinator, which just takes that. And we're going to have this also output as red circuits. And that, so it will be red circuits divided by the slash equals output of 3. So that means that this is 3%. So then we just need a third arithmetic combinator, which goes there. Feels like there's got to be a more efficient way of doing this. Okay, so we have that. And you can't do multiple math in one combinator, so that's fine. So then this has to... Oh wait, we could just set constants in these. So this can just be constant of 100, and this can be a constant of 64k, and then this is 100 minus that, and then this controls that, and is it output in set priority? Send the contents of the circuit network to train so they can be used for weight conditions. Okay, that makes sense, but we're just going to do this. So set priority, and so this has to output as signal P, which means this is set to priority 97. Alright, so that works, and we don't need those. Right. Alright, cool. So, this will now be higher priority for getting red circuits than other things because it's so very low. Now what we want to do, though, is we want to be able to customize this based on the speed. So the problem is that this devours a massive amount of red circuits, as we can see there. So this takes a huge amount of red circuits, and if we actually put the bulk inserter in, then it's going to just constantly use them up and produce a massive amount. So, okay, here's an idea. What if we... Can we actually do that? Let's see here. We're going to need more arithmetic combinators. I think those might be my favorites. Just because of how simple they are. So, if you take input from there and give your output to there, then you can no. So we could set stack size, I guess, but that would just make that go faster. What I want to do is like slow this down, but that's probably no good. Although, actually, this doesn't run very fast. Alright, so that's probably fine then. Yeah, because this is this ridiculous blue circuits, which takes absolutely ages to run every time. So we have that, and now this is constantly going to be super high priority. Okay, what if we... No, that wouldn't work. I was thinking, what if we like scale the priority up so that this is lower? But no. So now we have these trains constantly coming here and delivering just a couple and then leaving. Actually, can we connect to just like random transport belts? What happens if we connect to a random transport belt? So we can do that apparently. And read belt contents and enable and disable. Alright. It's not really what we want. So what we want to do is... Hang on. My mind has stopped working temporarily. Okay, so one potential problem here is that these aren't equal. Like this one gets used faster than this one, for example. And with this being the only red circuit destination that's set like this, it's going to just receive all of them until it's very full. Which isn't like the worst thing in the world, but it's not ideal. Alright, so we need to figure out how to stabilize between all of these so that we aren't just using this one. We could just... Yeah, so what I want to do is I want to set priority to be lower based on how fast it consumes them, so that things which only need a small amount will get prioritized more heavily. Also, is power... Yeah, we are totally fine on power production for our personal suit. Alright, so we have this set up. It's pretty simple, I would say. And it seems to be working. At least for this. Now, the other thing which is weird is that this is going to be basically... Yeah, so this is what I was worried about, is this uses it so fast that it's just going to be constantly stuck at max priority, because there's no way that we're ever going to output all of this. Like the amount of red circuits we have is not enough to keep up with all of these. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. So this is 3.2 red circuits per second. And if we check our red circuit production, I assume it's not going to be that much. No, it should be. It should theoretically be a ton. Because each of these is... Oh, each of these is 0.1. So we have possibly enough red circuits then, assuming that all of this is running, which it is. We have the red circuit production to maybe keep up with just this, but then that gets into the problem that these boxes aren't all balanced, because that one gets drawn basically as priority number 1. So what we need to do is... How do we do this? How do we do this? We need to make it so that all of the boxes are going to be in sync, so that we don't have this situation with some of them filling up, or we just need to come up with a way of reading the entire thing at once, and I guess we could do that. So we could take... So instead of 6.4K, it's going to be 6.4K times 3, 6, 9, 12. Alright, can I just get... Can I just get that in? And actually, we have it there. And that is going to input into that. And this is going to be just two constants because I can't be bothered to do math. And it outputs to, I don't know, some value. Slash. 76K. So we set this to the slash. And that's obviously going to break everything temporarily. But then we just need to connect all of these up like that. So now this is accurately calculating the entire row. And that's what we want. So now we don't have to worry about it being biased by one or two of the boxes being more full. And it's the night vision turning on and off is super weird. Why does it do that? I guess just that's just a day-night cycle that it's hard to tell when the night vision is active. Alright, so that is that. And then we're just going to need to grab this and paste it. Actually, let's just grab it as a blueprint. And actually, if we want to blueprint that, I want one more thing, which is I want this to be able to work for more than just red circuits. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you in, and you're going to take input of each times 1 and output red circuits. So if that works the way that I think it will, then we disconnect that, we connect you into you, and you into you. And does that work? No, that's broken it. Oh, because that's signal 1, not constant 1. Alright, so now, I mean, this could probably be more functional, but now this will take in any signal and convert it out to that. Actually, can we just make this... Yes, we can make this quicker, so we don't need that. We can have you be each times 100, and then that all just works. So then that brings it down to the proportion, and then this inverts it. And this just calculates the value, which is 76K, which is probably gonna be 76K for everything. So we can just set this as a constant. Wait, yeah, it's 76,000, not 7,600. So we set that, and that means we can chop that one off, and we just have this nice convenient little line of combinators, which, I don't know, maybe we could make this more compact by like lining them up vertically, but this is fine. So let's also just grab the power pole in it as well and call this priority setter and make that blueprint. So now we can run down here and pop you in like that. And now we just have to combine all of these guys up, pop them in there, and pop you in there, and you to set priority. And this radar is not doing anything valuable, so we're going to cut it off. And so now this is also priority of 93. And that's priority of 91. Alright, so now we just have to find all of the red circuits and get these in for all of them. So, where are the other red circuit inputs? They aren't there, they aren't there. There's one here. So we run up this way, and actually let's pop this into there, and then in it goes, and we're going to need a bunch of those. Alright. So every time we do this, we just have to connect all of these up and in. So now this is priority 50, because these boxes are 50% full, which means it's not going to get any until things change dramatically. Alright, where else do we even use red circuits? Okay, also now we're getting a delivery of all the things we use to make those combinators. And we should, at some point, automate production of some of these things. Otherwise we're going to be stuck doing that a whole lot. Alright, so that should be, theoretically, balancing red circuit production nicely. So where else do we need them? Is it just those three places? It might just be those three places. Although maybe there's some stuff down here that needs them that I'm forgetting about, but it doesn't look like it at a glance. Alright, so yeah, that's that. So red circuit production has been set up successfully. And now if there's anything else that we have a shortage of, we should probably do like iron plates and stuff with this. We're producing blue circuits again, which is nice. Got 100 and some of those. And it's just going up. Alright, so now that we have all that, we will hopefully be able to tell, like, is this even working? So this is down to priority 91. Which, yeah, makes me think that maybe this is all we need to do to fix these things. So let's find anything else which is struggling with inputs if it exists. And I don't know if it does, because we've been sort of sitting on this without making significant upgrades for a while. Alright, so we have copper wire, which is just going along, producing like crazy. But there are no trains stopped here, which means that it's fine, probably. All the rest are waiting at copper wire inputs, which means, yeah, it should be fine. And the plates show up again. And they're going to be filling this up. But if these boxes are all full, then it's not needed. Alright, and we are delivering a decent supply of blue circuits in here. Now, it's not crazy or anything, but it's enough that these are producing. Which means that we should be successfully getting tier 3 modules. So that's pretty cool to see that working again. Alright, so I want to just continue messing around with the circuits because it's fun. So if we were to like significantly upgrade this, it might reach a point where it is absorbing our entire supply of red circuits. So how do we fix that? What we need to do is we need to detect that this is hitting 100, and if it hits, let's see here. No, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say, if it hits 100, maybe we have to just set the priority down to 90. Like, so that things which are almost empty but can be kept up will be prioritized, but I think that's just silly. I think leaving it like this should be mostly fine. And we are seeing plenty of red circuit production coming through. Alright. So next up, green circuits. Are green circuits still fine? We have this weird situation where we're very heavily using half of them and not very heavily using the other half. So why is that? And can we fix it? So I guess the near half is just prioritized for the inserters. So what we need to do then is disconnect being on the near half back here from being on the near half here. Okay, maybe if we put it up like that. No, that wouldn't work. We do need to use both sides of both belts for maximum throughput. Also, it seems like this might be running out. Might be happening. Yeah, I think this is just like fully going empty, unless there's one right on the way at the moment, which there isn't. We have one waiting at an output. And you are filling up, but you're not especially close. And that's the only one waiting at an output. Alright, I think we might just need... because we have more than one green circuit output, I'm pretty sure. I think we might just need, like, an additional green circuit train. I'm not sure how that happened. We should have been constantly producing them in the correct numbers, but There you go, and you're off. So now you can go fill up at a different output. And, okay, that's another thing we could do, is we could prioritize outputs that are more full. So that it doesn't, like, stop at an empty output and leave the other one stranded. Alright, how do we do that? But first, I want to figure this problem out first, the unloading. I'm pretty sure, actually, is my new... Because these are pretty old unloaders. Is this one different? No, this is the same that I've been doing this whole time. And for whatever reason, it doesn't empty evenly. So, the problem is that we need a balancer. So we need this, basically, to not necessarily be correlated with the output on that side. So, let's figure out how to get that. So all we need to do is we need to, like, split it and then rebalance it. So I don't know. Something. No, that doesn't do anything at all. That's pointless. So theoretically, there are going to be green circuits on the other side, which is what's throwing me off here, because this looks like it's just a single-sided belt, but it isn't. And there's also... Okay, we are getting a shipment now. Just in the nick of time, honestly. And it is a pretty hefty one. So we have that. And what we need to do is... we need to split this into two, and this is going to run out fast, isn't it? So this is the first step, is we need to have this on two separate belts so that we can then merge them back somehow. And what we need is... Actually, no, maybe we can do this back here. So instead of these two meeting up like that, what if they meet up like that, and then this goes like that? I don't think that does anything. No, I don't think that does anything, because it's still the same way. Where the ones over here are still going into that line, and the ones over here are still going into that line. Alright, brain, figure this out. What are we supposed to do? We are getting semi-regular deliveries now, which is nice. So this is probably not going to run out of green circuits, at least imminently. So what we need to do is... we need to make it... yeah, it just has to be something that we can do over here that we can then just, like, blueprint and have as a setup. So now we have it on two separate belts. And it's... which belt it goes on is independent of which side it was on. Okay, wait, I think I figured it out. So all we need to do is have this go out there, have that go up there, And then those two go like that. Okay, does that work? So, if you're the left side here, you'd evenly go between there, and that one is stopped, but that one's going fast. If you're on the right side here, you'd be going between there, and that one's stopped, but that one's going fast. So I think this does fix it. Or at least make it better, maybe? No, wait, no, because this one, which is the outside one, is going faster, and that's only connected to the right side. Alright, no, this doesn't work then. So what we need to do is we need to get the right side to be split among both the right side and the left side. So let's just work on like a empty belt here. So we have this, which splits it into two. Maybe if we split... No, this is definitely not going to do anything. We need to get the right side... No, I don't know. I give up. We're just going to have it be like this, and that's fine. It's not going to be breaking anything. And yeah, so then we can just take all this stuff out and just have it be normal. And let's just... This is another thing which we should probably have done by this point, is just upgrade planner all of these. So we have blue belts now, and it'll make this go faster. Alright, so those are all getting upgraded. And it'll be a while before it has any impact, because we have to get all of them. Alright, so that is that. And now it's going. Alright, let's get that priority setter into this, just to confirm that this does work with things that aren't red circuits. So you get connected there, you get connected to all of these, and this is priority of 40. Which means that, yeah, it's about 40%. That, I believe that that's 40%. That looks like that could be about right. Alright. We can also upgrade all of these to be more efficient. Although, maybe that's counterproductive since we have the resources technically, and it's the output that is the problem. But what we're going to do is we're going to make them more efficient, and then we're going to make a second row. So those are all in, and now we are low on productivity modules again, but that's fine. So what we need to do is we need to get this weird stuff back here out of the way, because I don't know what... So this is because our original belts weren't fast enough to handle all of these. Alright, so we have that. How fast are these in terms of green circuits. It's one each. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, but then the ones near the end are faster, but that's just because they haven't been upgraded properly. So if that's 16, and these can handle like 45, theoretically a single blue belt should be able to manage like 3 rows, and that would dramatically speed up our blue circuit production. Alright, so let's copy this, flip it horizontally, and alright, we copied too much. That's fine. So we place that in. And all that stuff is going to get built, and it's going to demand a whole lot more productivity modules, but that's fine because we need the blue circuits to make the productivity modules. Alright, and then in the process of doing that, we haven't accidentally disconnected any of this stuff, it looks like. So now we just have to get the pipes across. Alright, so now we just have to connect the underground pipes like that, and like that. And so now those are all going to be running like crazy. Currently don't have any modules, so they're going to be producing super fast too. But that's fine. So that is in. And we should be producing a ton of blue circuits now. And we just need you to go into there. And so hopefully that will help with our modules, and that will in turn help with this. See, at this point, okay, so the last couple got powered pole mixed up and didn't get that. We're gonna have to put that in. Now these are all functioning properly, which surprisingly the green circuits are making it all the way down. To be completely honest, I didn't expect that. I expected it to fail. But it's working. And we are now producing a lot of blue circuits. Alright, so now we head over here. And this is just going along as normal, producing all of these. Blue circuits are actually pretty decent. Is this the only place that uses blue circuits at the moment? It is. Which is quite helpful. Alright, how's our drone network going, by the way? Pretty fine. We have thousands of spare drones of all types. Alright, so in that case, we should be fine. So I just need to go around and put the priority balancers on all of the green circuits everywhere that they get used. So this is obviously producing them, and it's not outputting anything. Okay, so this... Is that working? Like, are all of our green circuits... No, surely not. Because we have... Where are they? The blue circuit's over here. I guess these are technically pretty full. Yeah, I guess technically that's working too. So let's put the balancers in just in case. So we have to get this for all of them. So let's go over here. And priority setter. You go in here. You managed to not break the power grid while doing it. And then we connect all these up with the circuits. And done. So now this is priority 50. Why are you priority 50? Aren't you full? Oh, I see. You're one of these ones where it's not balanced properly. That makes sense. Okay, well, you have that. You have that. We have another green circuit thing here. And they're all like this, which is a bit annoying. Alright, so then this goes in there. And we connect them all up. And like that. You are priority 60. Because we once again have the situation where they're partially full. Actually, this looks suspicious. This looks like way more than 60. Right? I mean, we're missing a couple, but not half. We're absolutely not short half of the potential green circuits that could be in this. So this is 6.4K per box. There are 12 boxes. Input signal here is 69K. Times 100 is 6.9 million. Divided by 76K is 91. Oh, I have to click set priority. That's what I need to do. I'm going to need to do that for all of these. I got that one already, obviously. Set U. Okay. Where else do we have to go? To you? Yeah, so you get set. And we haven't... Oh, that's the output, so we don't need to do anything there. Okay, and then we have our radar, which could use some priority. Hello, Tie Guy. Nice to see you again. We are messing around with circuits, and we have gotten a useful system in where we just have to pop this in, and it sets the priority on the train station to the proportion of boxes that are full. Alright, let's craft up a bunch more of those. So that way it will send it to whatever needs it most. And we just have to go around and put it in to everything that is potentially a problem. And I could probably have set up the blueprint better so that it puts the wires in to all those things automatically, but it's fine. So you get set as a priority as well. yeah, it's pretty neat. So we need to just keep running around getting this in. It's very simple too. It's just literally a bit of math. So then this goes along, and it goes into there, and it comes out there, and you are clicked to set priority. So yeah, so basically this row of boxes is mostly full, except for some of these which aren't, and it just does some calculations, and then we check the priority. So that's a signal of 13, which means it's, what, 87% full. So it gets set to priority 13, because it's just 100 minus that. That's all there is to it. It's pretty simple, and it works great. At least so far. I've only been setting it up for like the past 30 minutes, so I don't know if there's going to be some unforeseen problems with it, but so far it's been looking like it works pretty solid. Like whenever I've set things up and they've been low, they pretty quickly get a delivery. Alright. 4 bits of priority, 0 to 15 is plenty. Yeah, see, the thing is, though, that would actually just be more difficult to set up in batches like that. I mean, calculating just the percentage full and subtracting it from 100 is extremely straightforward and simple. Whereas, like, doing extra work to figure out, like, which of various groups it could fall into would just be more work, I think. Alright, so how's the crude oil going, by the way? We have that output, which is filling up. We have that output, which has a train filling up in it. And then we have this one up here. Yeah, no, so the way it works is, let me get back to somewhere that uses it real quick. Yeah, down here is one. So I just have to manually invert it. So what we do is we just take the total number of green circuits that are in these boxes, we add it up, multiply it by 100, divide by the amount of space in the boxes, and that outputs here, and this is the percentage full that the box is. And then this subtracts 100 from that and gives us sort of the inverse, right? So higher priority is served first. So if it's mostly full, near 100%, the priority will be lower, so it'll get served last. Whereas if it's mostly empty, near 0%, the priority will be higher and it'll be served first. So that's all there is to that. Technically, P stands for priority, but yeah, basically. It's sort of an inverse percent. It's the percent empty rather than the percent full, if you look at it like that. Alright, so I was looking at the crude oil because the situation on the petroleum gas remains a bit sketchy sometimes. Now we have this station up here, which is successfully filling a train. And it's got a turret with ammo that doesn't need to fire at anything, so that's all good. And yeah, so that it just takes so long to fill anything up. Is this even working? Yeah, so this is very slowly pumping oil into this. And it has to wait until it has a full cargo inventory before it leaves. Yeah, the oil situation, I think maybe we just need more storage in various places. That might be part of the problem because of how long the delay can be. So these ones are, we have 3 filling up, 2 waiting at inputs. And then this is emptying out quickly. Alright, so how do we... Let's see. So this apparently just doesn't have enough crude oil input to manage it still, even after we added this additional thing in. Hey, look, biters. That's fun. Where did you come from? From all the way down here, I guess? I guess if that's the only part of my base you can get to. And there, we're just gonna have those get blown up. And there we go. Another one of those dealt with. It's incredible how easy dealing with biters is when you have just artillery absolutely everywhere. Just have to click twice on each of those, and then the biter nests all go away. Alright, did I miss those 2? I think I did. I'm going to make sure that we have something firing at them. Don't want to leave any nests alive. There we go. Biters dealt with. I wonder if you can... I wonder what you can do with circuit networks and artillery. Probably some pretty cool stuff. And yeah, even just while I was doing that, this has emptied out. It might be fine though. Like, if this only runs temporarily, but if this only occasionally runs, but it produces all the petroleum gas that we need, I guess it's okay. If this doesn't need to run full time in order to keep up with the gas requirements, then I guess that's not a concern. We have 2 waiting at inputs. They've both got thousands. It's probably okay. Alright, so it seems like we have most things set up. We're still waiting on productivity modules to produce, which is simply just going to take forever. Like, there's just no way in which this is going to be a fast process. I guess we could speed it up with another one of these. Alright, so we have 2 of these producing at 0.36 a second, which is how much this one uses. But we also have this, which takes in all of the spare module 1s and is very full. Alright, let's see if... Let's see. I think we just need a faster productivity module dedicated production line. I think it'll be easier to just set that up aside from all of this. So we need 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is going to be an absolutely overkill production of productivity modules. But that's good because it'll mean we can get this done faster and it'll respond faster to demand. So we have this. And it is going to take in all of these and all of these. And then we need to power it up. Alright, so something like that is enough power, and we just need to get the 2 circuit types there. And then we have 8 of these, which means we can run 4 of those. Which, let's see, the way we set this up was just with a line like that, and then that directly feeds you. One, two, three, 4. And then we have to paste the settings across, like so. And then you each get an input from this belt. Wait, this belt needs to be facing this way in order to line up properly. And all of these need to output to this belt. Like that. And then we also need red and blue circuits, which are going to go on a belt here. Like that. And then that is those to 4 of those to 2 of these, but actually running full time as opposed to the current ones, which definitely don't. So these output to another line there. And then we get those 2 in. And hopefully that'll work. So this gets input from there and delivers its output to there. And these are productivity module 3s, which also need the red and blue circuits, which is this line. So they get those and those. And then we just have to power everything up and make sure we catch all of it. Something like that. So now the whole system is powered. We can then collect all that up and send it to a provider chest. So, let's see here. Red and green circuits go here. So we can actually just take this, since this exists for some reason, and you can go up here and into there. Red circuits, we can just split off from there. And then they come up this way and twist around like that for some reason and go in there. So that is productivity module 1's producing. should output at some point. And these aren't speed moduled at all, so it's going to be a bit slow, but whatever. So then we have to take blue circuits here and bring them up. And hang on. So these have to go up here. And then they twist around this way for coming down that way and going into half of that. And then the red circuits do the same thing on the other side. Fill the other half of that belt. And yeah, now this should be theoretically working. And it's just going to be a while before it all gets set up. So this one is producing. Eventually it'll make one. Alright, let's get our speed module 2s on all of these. Oh, what have I done? Okay, I don't know what I did there, but it wasn't right. So you are all going to go super fast. And then hopefully some drones can give me some speed module Mark 2s from right here. Let's just grab some manually, I guess, to fill out the rest of these. Like that. Alright, so now we should be getting 0.8 productivity module 3s per second. Assuming that this is all working, which... Why is there green circuits on these? What? How are you doing that? What? Alright, somehow these got green circuits in them. I don't know how that is... Oh, I set the recipe wrong. Okay, so I somehow set this recipe back to productivity module 1, 3s. So we have to go through that, fix that setting, and now we're all good. And this is going to take a bunch of green circuits, but we apparently have like infinity green circuit production now, so it should be fine. And it's just going to be a matter of whether the blue circuits can hold up. And to a lesser extent red circuits, but I'm more confident in them. Alright, so this is producing... Oh, output full. Right, we need those. And there we go. So that is now producing productivity modules at a much faster rate than we are down here. And if we can get speed module 3s, which we might repurpose this to make speed module 3s, then this can go even faster. I don't know, it doesn't really seem necessary. Alright. I think we're doing pretty well on just like having the production we have here and having it be pretty quick. So I would like to just confirm this is all working, and then I think it's finally time. It's been a while, but I think it's finally time to add new stuff to the factory. So what do we want to produce next? I think our next goal is probably just science, maybe. I don't know. Hard to say. Okay, so I think our next goal should be producing something in here. Probably. Use the same set of module producers to make all 3 types somehow. Oh, that's... Wait, actually there was a thing I saw when I was just Googling the functionality of circuits that you could, like... If I were to connect that up somehow, you could... there is apparently a way to, like, set recipes somehow. Yes, set recipe. So, we could potentially do that. Now, the problem would, of course, be the various... We would need to have some way of getting rid of the extra modules of the other type that are on the belt. Okay, wait. I know what we could do. Wait. If this works, it would be incredibly cool. Alright, so what we need to do is... we need to set the module ones, because yeah, these all require, if I check these are all just the same things. It's the same circuits and then the previous one, right? So those recipes are all exactly the same. So if we set our first row of module producers to make whatever is low based on a circuit board connection, and then the second row of module producers can be set to make whatever is on the belt, and the third one can do the same, and then we could do that. That's a good idea, actually. That would be super fun to do, and pretty efficient too. And it would let us make this a lot larger scale, basically, because we would only need the one setup. Alright, so let's figure out how we do that. So we need... get the Module 3 producers to check their input stream and produce whatever's being fed to them. Yes, so what I think we need to do before that is... Okay, here's the problem, is that we might end up with awkward amounts. So... hang on, let me think. If we end up with awkward amounts, then it would be awkward. Yeah, no, I like your idea. We just have to figure out how to get it to work, because the problem is going to be these intermediate belts, right? Because if this gets a whole bunch, if this gets productivity modules stuck on it, or the machines get productivity modules stuck in them. Okay, that's actually something to check, first of all. So if we go set recipe from the first valid recipe signal, or the first valid item signal, or first valid entity signal. Alright, so wait. If I understand that correctly, then say we have a box and we put, I don't know, what can we make in an assembler? Just as a theory thing, just transport belts. So if we have that, then that goes in there, then it instantly gets set to that recipe. First valid item signal or the first valid entity signal. Okay, so that is simple enough. How do we change it then? So if we take you out and put you in, then you get set to that. If both are in, it gets set to that. And then if we put a new thing in, it stays the same, but if it's more... Okay, so yeah, it is the first valid, so it'll just stick on what it has, which isn't really a concern. So all we need to do is have our... Alright, so we're also going to need a sorting mechanism to put it into the right belt, which is actually trivial, so we don't even need circuits for that. So what we have is we have 3 of these, and they are all fed in from a belt, which all of these would be whitelisted to a specific type of module. Oh wait, no, there's actually another science experiment I wanted to do first. So let's get a box in, and we are going to fill it with a stack of express transport belts. And we hook that up. So this now wants to make express transport belts. One of those recipes is fast transport belts. So we put that in. Alright, now we take that out. The recipe is lost, and this gets set into the output section. Alright. Is that fine? Is that fine? So what we need to do is we need to make it so that the outputs get reclaimed. Alright. More science time. We're doing a whole lot of science today. If we throw green circuits in there, throw red circuits in there, and throw wire in. So the wire is currently in the green circuit recipe. We take the green circuits out. Now it's only red circuits, and the wire is the output, and we have to take that out. Filter out each type using splitters so that it doesn't skip a box. Yeah, okay. So I know how I'm getting all of these in. Oh yeah, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, that is better, you're right. We'll do that. But it's pretty simple. We could also just like have it be a loop basically, so that if it skips it on the first try, it can go around and go in. But what we need to do is we need to deal with the spare inputs. Because even if we have this, and then we put that in, and that gets lost despite the fact that it's the same. So what we need to do is we need just any way of... Am I clogging up my inventory with this? No, it was just clogged up to begin with. Alright, why do I have this stuff in here? You can go away. I don't need 3 pistols. And what else is in here that's like not gonna break anything to not have? Display panels can go away. Do I still have gun turrets in this? Yes. You can go to 0. I do not need gun turrets anymore, ever. I have fish again. How do I keep getting fish? Go away. So I'm getting distracted. Yep. Alright. So I got distracted. What we need is... we need a way of taking all the extra stuff out of this. That doesn't break if it changes. So, if we have this, we have that, we're gonna have to have these be powered on. So if we tell you to make red circuits, then you're set to red circuits, and we put wire in. Cool, now you have wire. now we set you to green circuits. So you're just going to immediately try to dump the wire out. Okay, so what we need is... we need like an extra waste output, basically, in order to make sure that it doesn't get jammed like that, which is going to make it marginally more complicated than this, but I think it should still be possible. So I think maybe what we need to do is we need to like make sure the belts are emptied out first. I don't know. Let's just try a very rudimentary example without like any ratios or any throughput at all. So if we just have these three, then we output to a belt. The belt is going to go this way, and it's going to split. Alright, so output left is going to be productivity modules, and then right will be everything else. Then right will be speed modules, and center would be the remaining stuff. So if we have that, then I don't know, this is probably not going to work. But we have that. So now these guys, yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking. That's one of the alternatives. So then this then just would output to that, and then these are just going to output along like this. And obviously this is just like a prototype, so we don't need this to be scalable at all. So we need to create a circuit that will tell this first one what type of thing to put in it. So it needs to be just the minimum of those three, which is fortunately quite simple. We have a selector, and those are all connected up. And then this would select something. Wait, I just thought. I just had a realization that if this is ever completely empty, it will lose out on its ability to do the selecting, which will make it a bit easier. So we need a bit more work. So it should still be easy. We just need some math to make sure that these are always some positive numbers so that they're not confused. So we add a constant 1 and output as, what do we output this? This one outputs as, I clicked on it wrong, productivity modules. And this one, can we paste the settings to all of those? And then this one outputs that, and this one outputs that. So now there will always be at least some signal of all the different types so that it won't get confused. And now we have our selector, which takes from these three and outputs index 0, I guess, which we just need to feed back. Is there a limit to how long these can go? There is. All right, so that's fine. We can just put this on the power lines and then back there. All right, so now it is chosen to make those. And wait, no, but we need two, because this is 3s, and that needs to make 1s. All right. It's slightly more complicated than I thought. No, well, we need to... We need to make it so that it knows that if it's short on 3s that it needs to produce 1s. But that's actually easy, right? So these just have to get set down to this. And the fact that I have these is even more necessary. So we have that. Then we connect that back up, and now that makes those. And that's straightforward. Now we just need to propagate it across to the other two. So we need to figure out how to find this to make that. So, oh, I think we need a decider maybe for this. So decider goes in and reads the contents of the loader, and if we have to set that up, read hand contents and set that to hold. So then if that does the loader pick it up if the next one doesn't need it? I think that's a good question. I actually don't know. It says, okay, it says target full. So even though this is empty, yeah, so we're gonna need just intermediate belts then, which is fine. Which we would have needed to have in the full scale thing anyways, so how much space do we need for this? We need you to be outputting onto that. Then we need a bit of room, and then a bit of room. And a bit more room, apparently. So you go in, then you go there, you go there, you go there. Alright, so then this just feeds across like that. And we need to filter that back to there. And then we need to give these set recipe again. Oh wait, no, we don't want to set that ahead of time. Reading an input belt or chest makes the most sense. Yeah, so what I need to do is I just need to figure out how to read this input belt or whatever to set this to be the right thing. So we take this, we have to read it and send it into some sort of logic thing, because it's not going to be enough to just send it through, because we have to give it a different recipe. So if you are greater than 0, output U. And I don't know, something like that, maybe. So that'll work for one thing. In order to get 3 of them, we would need just more of these. Oh, okay, wait, no, these are deciders, not math guys. All right, so we get 3 of those, and so you are, if that's greater than 0, output that. You are gonna be for green, and you are going to be for red. And then we just need to connect this up to all of you. And then connect all of you up to you. Alright, so does this do like the step 1 of feeding the thing? So we have to, let's just do this temporarily. So we get some boxes. We're going to feed you with some green circuits and some red circuits. So you are then going to make a speed module. And let's make you go fast so that this works quickly. So it's produced 1. It hasn't done this yet. Alright, still didn't work. Oh, no, wait, no, we just need to have that be set recipe? Maybe? The belt being full of various mod types doesn't tell me what the second should be making. Yeah, well, we're gonna have to do something along those lines at some point. But this is just to, like, get it physically working. Is the belt reading the contents? Oh, duh. Obviously. There's so many little things like that you need to select. Alright, so that has worked. So now that sends it across there. So we have that. Then we just have to basically copy this setup pop it over here, and hook it back up again. And then hook all of those up. You are set recipe. You are... Oh, we need to set all of these first. So instead of 1 to 2, you are 2 to 3. You are 2 to 3. You are 2 to 3. And you need to be powered. And you read belt contents and hold. Okay, and then we need to give this the other inputs, obviously. So that's red and blue circuits. So now you are producing that. You are set up correctly. And in theory, what we should see is that we'll produce one in here, which Oh wait, no, we don't need to have that to be read ingredients. Alright, so now this is set wrong? How have we done that? What did we do? What did we do? The C's to... Did I connect it? Oh, I connected it incorrectly. Okay. There. This is so fiddly sometimes. So you have to be connected into there. Alright, so now that will do that. And let's just speed you up and speed you up so that this can go a little faster, and it should produce one out of there once we give it access to these two. I feel bad for my poor drones. They're being asked to do all sorts of ridiculous stuff in the name of science, filling me up with all these red and blue circuits. Alright, so that fills you up. And this is going to make that, and once we get one of those into here, it will no longer be the smallest pile, and the whole thing should shift over. And then what we need is just some way of getting rid of the stuff on these belts. Oh yeah, apparently that's the first time I've ever crafted a speed module 3. I could have sworn I'd done that already, but sure, I guess. Alright, so these are going to then go into some boxes, and why has it lost its recipes now? Oh, it's lost its recipe because the input has failed. Alright, so you need to be restocked to keep going. Okay, now this is going to be an issue. What we need... So yeah, this isn't going to work. Because these are just taking the recipes out. Alright, so instead of reading that, we need two things. We need an ability to shift the extra junk out when it changes recipe, and preferably recycle it somehow. And we need a way to keep these on here without having to rely on putting it on a belt. So, I think the solution is to pull it from a chest like this. So, instead of this being a belt, we can actually just make this a chest, just in general, and have it be fine. And then dismantle that. Connect these up to there, and do the same thing here, and take you out. I don't know why you have all that stuff in. Oh, because you keep losing the recipe, I guess. Alright, why are you doing this? You're putting it into the box and then it's immediately getting pulled out. Alright, so that's no good. Then we can't do that then. Let's pick that up, and then so what we need to do is we would need it to be so that this box is more filled than this is taking. Hang on. So that is fine, and then this goes like that, and we take those out. Alright, so we haven't even gotten to the point of fixing the whole thing. Is this working? Has this run out of something? Yes, we've run out of red circuits. Whoopsies. Alright, that's fine though. We're gonna continue trying to stare at this and make it work. So, we need, first of all, to filter these outputs. So this is whitelisted to those, and those. This one is whitelisted to the tier 2 variants only. And this one is whitelisted to the tier 3 variants only. Like that. And then let's see if that does anything here. So we put those back in. Now it's perfectly happy to fill them up. And yeah, so this, we do need a place to take them that is where the junk goes. So we have those in, and we're just going to have bulks like that. And this is going to be blacklist for those. Wait, no, maybe we need... No, yeah, so that... This first one, yeah. So it needs to be able to get rid of that. This is blacklist for the tier 2s. 1 and 2 and 3. And this one is use filters, blacklist 1, 2, and 3. So, any extra junk should get taken out into those boxes now. So we need to refill these to get it all started again. What is this train doing? What are you doing? Oh, you're just trying to get somewhere, but you can't go, so you're trying every 10 seconds until it works. That's fine. You can go ahead and do that. Okay, so the problem is... The problem is basically... Yeah, so this gets put in the box, and then these get set, and then they immediately forget it once it gets taken out. Like the exact instant that happens. So maybe if we actually... Maybe that's crazy, but... Alright, no. What we need to do is... Okay. I have an idea, actually. If we set these to be greater than, like, 2... Greater than 2 across the board. And there isn't really any better way of doing this than just clicking them all manually. So there we go. So those are now set like that. So these won't set recipes unless there's 3 of these. And then you... I think I need to override stack size to 1. Maybe that will help. No, That does not help. Alright, so the problem is... Oh, we need a latch, don't we? Yeah, so what we need to do is we need to make a latch so that this stays as it is. And, alright, their fighters are attacking up here. Let's just get rid of you. We're losing some drones and such. So let's just set all of you to get blown up. And that should handle that problem. So what we need is, we need to make it so that once this gets a recipe, it sticks with that recipe for at least a little while. So, let's see if I remember this. So, let's say if these are greater than 10. Yeah, artillery is fantastic. You can just wipe out every biter nest within your pollution cloud without ever having to do anything about it, and just like basically never get attacked. Alright, so that's set to be greater than 10. And now we just need to do some conditional stuff. So it's greater than 10, or hang on. I read the Factorio Wikipedia thing on this, on how to make these right before the stream, but also right before the stream has been a couple hours. So what we need to do is we have that greater than 10, or this is greater than 0, and this equals 1. So let me think if this is correct. So if that's greater than 10, I think we have to loop this into itself as well, like that. No, that's wrong. Yeah, I think we need to loop it into itself with green, maybe? Alright. Is that... Why are you not working now? Oh, so we have 9 in there currently, so the latch isn't set. So it's just being normal. So if we fill these up with even more circuits, we're going to make another one. And now it's at 10. And this is greater than 10, so it hits 11, and it doesn't work. Alright, so what am I doing wrong? Oh, this has to be greater than 0, not less than 0. Alright, we figured it out. We figured it out. So now this goes up to 10, it sets that, and it goes. And we're probably going to need the actual numbers to be much greater than 10 eventually. And we're also going to need the ratios to all be correct so that it can stay stable for an extended period of time. But we have figured out a latch. So that's pretty cool. And then did this... Okay, this didn't get around to actually producing anything because it didn't have any in here. And now this is... Oh, this is going up to a higher number. And now we've successfully produced one of these. Now, this says it's target full. I don't know why. I guess just, oh, because it just doesn't have a recipe. Alright, so we need to just Control C, no, wait, Shift right click, Shift left click, and then set all of these to that, this one to that, and this one to that. Yeah, it is working, possibly, at least for this one. And I actually don't know how it's working. Okay, so currently it stopped again. So yeah, what we need to have is we need to have the ratios correct and stable inputs instead of this. So let's just spend like 30 seconds to... Oh no, we ran out of red circuits, right. That was a thing that happened while I was doing this. Although red circuits are right here and going somewhere else. Okay. Oh, this I never clicked set priority, so that's why it's not getting any. That'll do it. So now we should be getting red circuits here to get this all functional again. And then we just need to sort the output chests. Alright, let's, I guess, continue feeding this manually. Yeah. So we just need, that's the next thing we need to figure out. Make sure that all this stuff keeps running. And then grab those. And let's see here. What was I thinking? Right, we would need it to do larger scale on this in order to get ratios correct. But I'm pretty sure I have at least the circuit side of things figured out, mostly. So this being 10 is possibly too low. And we are also going to need to figure out how to do it with belts instead of just a single chest. But it should be fine. Okay, so what we need to do is, first of all, why are you not getting the recipe? Oh, because this is still at 7, so it's still working. Let's make sure you don't run out of circuits. If you could read the building to tell if it's working on something and latch it that way. Maybe, but I don't know that... I think this current system would work, right? And even if we do that, there's still going to be some leftovers, because it'll have, like, you know, instead of the correct number of how many it needs, it'll still have, like, 1 or 2 spares in it. Just because of rounding issues. So we are going to need a garbage removal system anyways. And it's just going to be a question of getting that set up properly. Alright, speaking of getting things set up properly, do we want to try to expand this out into a fully working thing, or do we just want to jump up to making it in larger scale? Let's try to jump to making it in at least a little bit larger scale. And in order to do that, I really just want to see this one turn on even briefly first, just so that we can verify, which should be any second now. This has plenty of resources, and it's all filled up. Alright, so that's now at 10. Which means we need one more. Come on. Make that... There we go. So that goes, but it didn't work. Why did you not work? Oh, because I didn't latch you back into yourself. So how did I do that with just a green wire here? Alright, let's get that on all of these so that I don't forget. And then, do we have spare of these? Yes, so we can throw a whole bunch of those in. And then this will be producing. And I really want to see this first one flip over to the green, to another type of modules, so that I know that that portion of it is functional, which it very well might not be. So this is now working, and it should almost be there. There we go. So you go in there. And now you have that. So this is now sitting at 2, which means that... Why do you have... How has that happened? How did you get in there? No, we're going to take you out. Alright, so this is currently not the lowest. Which means that this... Oh. Output signal of... I never put this in. Obviously. So that's the first thing. So I need to set these to actually take their input. Like that. So then this outputs 5. Oh, and we need to sort descending, I believe, or we just need to flip that. So now that is set to that, and hopefully it'll work. All right, let's try to do this in an actually like feasible, scalable way. So let's grab, I don't know, it's gonna take a bit more space. So we need, first of all, we need to take these random laser turrets out. They're just hogging power. Nothing is ever gonna get this far into the factory, and if it does, we have other problems. So we need, where are they? Assembly machines. So we need, like, the basic ratio is 1 and 2 and 4. And we need all of that to be scalable, so everything has to touch a belt at some point so that we can drag that belt around. So we have that. This is the... Well, I'm just going to set it to one recipe temporarily so that I can just check. So this has one belt, which is going to be the outputs, and another belt, which is going to be the circuits. Then this would be the tier 2s. Okay, and then we need to worry about the junk management. So this is going to have 2 output belts. Get that wall out of the way. So this has 2 output belts, a junk and a primary one. And these need to have 2 output belts as well, which is going to make this a bit complicated. So we need how many belts do we need these to have access to? We need to have them have an output belt, an input belt for the two types of circuits, an input belt for the prior module, and an output belt for junk. So that's 4 belts, which is technically possible. Alright, so these are going to need all of these, and we're going to have to move that power pole. For now, we're just going to work around it. Alright, so this has 2 output belts there. This has... so we have to figure this out. This has 2 output belts. The modules go up there. The input... The junk can go down here onto this belt to share with this down here, which would be something like this. Spacing is... the exact alignment is a bit funky, but whatever. Read working can be checked on assemblers, but you don't know what the signal is. Could work for the latch as long as you also read the inserter for the greater than 10 value. Yeah. So I think you can just set the signal to be whatever you want it to be. And so that would potentially work, but I don't... yeah, I guess that would work. So we could do that. Alright. So back to what we were doing here. This is the first row of inputs, which would be these, which needs to take in 2 types of thing, and that's it. Right? So this has theoretically 1 line of input. We could split it to 2 if we want. Wouldn't hurt anything to have faster belts for that. Alright, so this goes like this, and that, and it then outputs... I guess we want this belt to go this way. It outputs a junk belt and a modules belt. So the junk belt can just be the closer one so that we can potentially use bulk inserters on it to make it go fast. The module belt is the distant one, which goes something like that. Alright, so that is that, and then... okay, wait. Let me think. We need to make sure that we know how much is on the module output belt at all times, which I guess we can just do with circuits. And I'm trying to think here. Actually, I think we want these to be sort of zigzagged, so you go like that, and that means we can potentially get these guys into a box here. No, that's a bit close still, so we're gonna have to shift it over 1 more. So this is probably not the most compact it could possibly be, but we need a box which is fed from that belt and then feeds that belt. So then we can check the box... Wait, is this dumb? Do I even need that? I don't think I need that. I think we might be able to just read the belt. Maybe? So let me think. The belt we would need to read would be... Oh, we could just read the entire belt. I think that'll work. So if we just take that back to there, and we can just like set up this, I guess. It's a bit ugly, but whatever. And that'll show how much is on the entire belt. And it's not going to be very many, though, which is the problem. It's going to be, like, in the vicinity of the 10 that we were dealing with earlier, which I really don't like. So I guess that's fine. No, I don't like that. I think we want to have the box in. Just so that we can have the numbers be higher, so that it's more stable. Because the higher the numbers on the latch is, the more stable the whole thing will end up being. So the box goes there. We have... Yeah, get rid of the transport belt. We have that in. And now we can set the number on the latch to like 100 or something. Or, I don't know, some large number is the point. And then it'll be very stable and just keep running for a while. And that does require these to be over here, like this. Alright, so they take that as input, and then they can output via long-handled down to that, which is the junk belt. And they need a power pole there. So then this is row 2, which isn't actually going to be set this way, it'll be set the other way. Then, so these have their module input and their junk output. So now they need their module output and their circuit input. So the circuit input can just be one of those. And we'll have it like that. And give you a power pole. And then your module output can be the far one. So then this one takes inputs from both of those and then outputs to both of those. Alright. So I think the building is mostly done. We just need to, I guess, copy-paste this thing over. So that exists now and can handle the output. Let's see, where can we put that power line where it's not just in the way? Alright, so the building is in. Now we need to connect the belts up. And red circuits are still a bit of a crisis. That's fine. We can make sure to set that down so that it doesn't get out of hand. Alright, so we have green and red belts here, which we can just honestly expand. So you go there, and you go there. So now we have green and red circuits. And this is technically a fully functional thing, almost. So what we need to do is now set the blacklists. So this is the junk output So it is going to be blacklist, you, and you. And we set that across there. Then you are whitelisted to those three. Like that. Alright, so those don't need any fancy stuff. This doesn't need any fancy stuff. And then the outputs here are... Okay, so this is another blacklisted one for these, as is that. So that goes down to the junk box there, which, let's actually make it a junk box instead of just a belt. Alright, and then these outputs up here are the actual modules, which is whitelisted to module mark 2s, and there. So then this is an input belt, which is fine. And then we have these two input belts, and then these two output belts. So you are whitelisted to module mark 3s. You are blacklisted to module mark 3s. Alright. So that's those settings done. And this first one is even filling up a little bit, which is nice. Now we just need to do all of the circuit stuff. So let's take some of that stuff out. And let's see, if we just copy that whole thing, it should also copy the wires. Alright, so that is in. And we need to craft a selector, I guess. Let's get a couple of those, just so that we have them available. Alright, so the selector then goes down to the first row, and that's all that. So you have to hook a ride on there temporarily, and then go there, 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 and there. And you are set to set recipe, set recipe, set recipe, and set recipe. Alright, so that's all in. So now those are making these, I guess, because they want to. And that's pretty neat. Alright, so then we have these, which I need to actually set so that they're all like this. So this is going to copy there, and then this was green. So this is green 1, green 1, green 2, green 2. And then we paste that again, and this is red 1, red 1, red 2, red 2. Alright, so now we have this. We paste this batch of 3. We bring them... Where am I? Here. And Let's just rotate them, I guess, because why not? And these go there. We need to craft up some deciders and power them up. So these are powered from this box, like that, and then they power the next machine. Wait. No, like this. Wait, hang on. Like that. The set recipe feature was added around January 2024, almost 2 years ago. Please don't tell me that January 2024 was almost 2 years ago. I can't handle that information. Anyways. We set recipe to those two. And so these output that, which is all good. And then we need to get this stuff in, which was one of these outputs up here, I think. So we're just going to take this belt up and over into there, I think. Is that correct? Yes, so the modules go on the other one. Alright, so this is now doing those things. So that's fun. And it's producing, and now we just need to get this same setup. So actually we need to, I guess, copy this, paste it there somewhere, and then set these all up a layer. So that's 2, that's 2, that's 3, that's 3, that's 2, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 3. And this is 2, 2, 3, and 3. Alright, so we need a similar box setup thing here. So that, I guess, just goes like that, and that. Then these all do that, and they all do that. And maybe? Alright. Alright, to give you set recipe. Okay. Oh, it's doing it. 3 of the 4 have switched over to this. Now all of those have switched over. And now we're throwing green circuits into that. Okay. So the first stage of switching over has succeeded. Now, okay, so the next thing that we need to worry about is this, which... Right, so we need this inserter to only insert if there's already that type of thing in here. So that's another thing which we need to add. And let's see, this is also... Oh, this is backed up because it doesn't have a junk box to put into yet. Alright, so you can put into that and be fine. Alright, so what was I doing? Right, so we need to fix that. So first of all, we take that out, and we're going to want to clear everything out of that. And we likewise want to take that one out. So we need an inserter that'll only insert something that's already in the box. And an inserter which will only insert... Hang on, this is actually not trivial, is it? Okay, let me think here. This is what happens when you try to do things at an actual reasonable scale, is you run into new problems. Alright, so this inserter, we need to only input green circuits into here if either this already has green circuits in it or it's empty. And by circuits I mean modules, obviously. So that's two conditions in which case this chest is active. So we need a decider here, which is going to read okay. Can I just put you in and then just turn you off temporarily? Alright, so inserter. So what we need to do is we need to not have the situation where there's both green modules and red modules in this box simultaneously, because then they'll get on this belt, and then who knows what'll happen. So we need to make sure that this box and everything downstream of it only ever has the thing which we currently want to be working on. So this needs to make sure that this inserter only runs if the thing it would be grabbing and the box are the same or the box is empty. So let's connect that up, connect that up, and then that is also going to be running the box, which maybe needs to be green. Alright, so this is enable disable if check equals 1. And see, do we read hand contents? Does that work? Maybe? We're gonna have to figure that out. So then this has to check if one of these has to be a green. Yes, we need to compare two different things here. So this needs to be green and red. So if so if the thing in the green signal, which is this one, whatever it is, anything, is... Man. Does that make any sense? So green signal currently is nothing because there's nothing in this hand. Whereas red signal is that. I wish there was a... Let's see here. We need to check if there's anything that isn't the same, which is complicated. So we don't have access to any of the fancy things here. Yeah, only have access to the fancy things on this side. So maybe this is red. If any of those are greater than 0, that means there's something in the box. Hang on, wait. Setting a splitter to allow through whatever is in the box? Like using a splitter instead of an inserter? How is that different? Isn't that just the same in this situation? It's just, we just have to figure out if one signal equals another signal. That's all we have to do. Which you'd think would be easy, but is not obvious actually. So we have our red signal, and there's something in it. Actually, do we want this to be less than 0? Because we want this to be off. No, I think we want this to be greater than 0. And then this enables if it is equal to 1. So if this passes, then it'll go through. So yeah, so if this is less than 0, that means that the box is empty and it'll accept anything. Or if... let me think here. Okay, wait. Maybe each... is greater... Yeah, maybe. This might work. This might actually work. Let me think. Alright, so you stop being filters. So your input signal is supposed to be green, I think. Then this outputs a check signal of 1, which would theoretically turn this on. Assuming these two are connected, which I think they are. There's sort of a blur of wires in here, but it looks like that's connected. Okay, but the problem is... that the hand size isn't happy with it. So, okay, maybe if we connect that up, so that transport belt, read contents, hold. Alright, so we have a signal of 4. Oh, this has to be less than or equal to 0. Oh, wait. No, because it doesn't think that there's a signal because it's just completely empty. It doesn't think that there's a signal because it's completely empty, which... means that... oh wait, maybe if I set that to everything. Yes, I set that to everything. Now it's true... Oh, wait. Only temporarily? Right, so now this system doesn't work because... Okay, so the amount of modules on the green is 5, but the amount that this transports at a time is 3. So what I was hoping to happen isn't happening. We just need the amount in the box to always be greater than this. Okay, well we can just use math, right? Or maybe another decider would be what does this. So you, instead of connecting directly to there, what if you connect over to here instead? And this one is going to set its output always equal to 1. So if that's greater than or equal to 0, that's always 1. And now, if we connect that up to there, then there's 3 in that box. No, this isn't going to work, because... No, it should work, right? There's 3 in the box. So, green... Anything green is less than everything... Oh, that has to be red. Alright, we figured it out. This is now active. So the box is now filling up with these. And okay, the other thing we need to do real quick is connect that up to account for all of those so that it doesn't drain until the whole thing is empty. Signal 74 of those, 75 of those. But there are all of these modules, which I thought would need to get... Oh, did that get disconnected? How did that get disconnected there? Okay, so now we have... Now we have that. And... Okay, this isn't... outputting any of those. It's supposed to be sending them up there, and it is not doing that. Oh, because this is so backed up. Okay, so that's probably fine, though. The second or third tier would just make whatever was given. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to get it so that they swap. The problem is making it so that all of these don't get jammed. Because I don't think there's a setting for just craft whatever craftable thing is possible with the ingredients I give you. You have to, like, deliberately set it. Alright, we have this. So the problem is... First of all, that we don't have... We're not seeing any of these. Which... Oh. Were those not connected properly? We should see somewhere in here. Okay, are you... You're definitely connected to that. Each assembler could have a separate holding box that it measures to see what it should make. Maybe? Maybe that would work. But then that's adding a lot of space in, which I'm not exactly super high on space. And this should function. I don't understand why... Oh, because I never set these to read belt contents, obviously. There, so we set those. And now... This still doesn't have input signals of those. Why does it not? So this... There's definitely... Oh, because it's set to pulse when I need it to be set to hold. Oh, there's an option that you can just do hold all belts. That would work. Yeah, it's not like super urgent, but it certainly would be nice to have it be better. Alright, so that should now be working. So now we can just drain that out and have this do that. And then we're going to need to set up the same system up here. So we do a copy and a paste. I'm going to have to figure out all the stuff that it's connected to. So this one is connected to the box. This one is connected to something, probably. And I need to craft more deciders as well, because we are using like an infinite number of them. Alright, so red connects this one to the box and to that one, which is hold all belts. So we're seeing 5 of those in that. Then this one is connected to that, and that is just an individual thing, right? Read belt contents hold. And then the output here has to go down to the inserter. So we put that in, snap you in, and you are enable disable check equals 1. Check equals 2. Why is that the case? Okay. Check signal, please. Why are you 2? Are you somehow connected down to this? Is this one also going to be... No, that one outputs a 1, as it responsibly should. Oh, is this because there are 2 different types of things in here already because they snuck past? Okay. If I drain all of that, now check equals 1. Wait, but should it though? We have that, which is coming in on the red signal, which is not less than or equal to 0. The red signal is not less than or equal to 0. Did I... Belts are cut on side loading and inside of splitters. Okay, what does that mean? If I just connect you up manually. So we have all of those in this. Oh, this is confusing. So this is successfully reading that there are 9 of those. And it's not outputting anything because neither of those are true. Alright, it might be fine. It might be fine. It looks like this is switching into the new recipe, maybe? No, it has no recipe set. If belt meets another separate belt, it's not measuring both. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So this is no recipe because there's nothing physically in the box. Alright, well, that's fine, I guess. The absolute lack of red circuits is making this very difficult to test because it's just going so slowly. And there's still more to do on this. So what I need to do is I need to make a latch, basically. So, well, what I need to do is instead of this just grabbing and setting it to make whatever the smallest thing is. No, it's probably fine, actually, because the way the system works, there's just inherently a bunch of delay. So, I mean, it's going to get them all about the same and then constantly be oscillating around, which I guess is fine if they're all about the same. Okay, this last one isn't working. Did I set you up wrong? I must have done something wrong with this. So, nothing here is true. It is attached into itself properly. Oh, what's going on? This one seems like it isn't holding its recipe correctly. It's up to 8. It'll hit 11 soon. And we can accelerate that by grabbing some of you and throwing you in the box. So, you are going along. You're producing that. And currently it's at 18, so everything is true and it's fine. Then, we're going to take some out. Now it's down to 11. And, okay, I mean, theoretically this should, yeah, I mean, this is going to make one of these and then immediately start shifting over to the next type. Alright. So, this is currently stable because of just how I've balanced the production. Oh hey, first time crafting an efficiency module 3 too. I've made so many productivity module 3s that I forgot that I never bothered to make the other kinds. It's funny. Alright, so this is, I think, mostly done, except for there are probably more bugs. But we are now producing those, and this has already shifted over to make the next type, and this has failed. Alright. Wonderful. It still doesn't work. The garbage doesn't need to take out the chips. Actually, it does. So this is what I was experimenting with earlier, is that when it loses the recipe, it just shoves whatever is in it into the output section, whether it's part of the recipe for the new thing or not, and it just gets locked. So you do actually have to take everything out and then fill it back in again later, as far as I know from what I've just tested here. But maybe there's some better way of doing it, but I don't know it. But anyways, so this has temporarily failed. Yeah, I was assuming it worked that way too, but I tried it and it didn't work, so, you know. Anyways, this system isn't working properly just yet, because we can see some of the blue modules got through when this should still be doing green modules. But I don't really have time to fix that today, unfortunately, so it's about time for the end of the stream, so I'm going to have to wrap up here. So thanks for hanging out. Had a lot of fun. And we'll be playing Satisfactory tomorrow, so that should be interesting. We'll be back to Factorio on Tuesday, where I can finish bug fixing this. It's pretty close to working. It's pretty close. It's not quite there, but just need a little bit more fixes, I think, and then it'll be good to go. And then we'll have this super fancy system. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Make sure to follow if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.